love the Vuvuzela. You're so timely.
I know, right? Staying on top of things.
Right.
Welcome to Everyone's a Critic Movie Review Podcast 1993. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Amy Kay.
Hello.
And MJ.
Hello.
You can find us on the Everyone's a Critic social media pages because Amy's still, not still trying to post things on her wall.
Nobody's coming by though. It's weird. It's like they don't know where I live. I really need to put my address out there for everybody.
It's so empty.
It's so empty. It's so no one ever comments anymore. So
just throwing comments up on the on the pole outside your house.
We will have that up. We will have that up actually because MJ and I are going to start our Umbrella Academy podcast as well, and so we're going to do them kind of in tandem, so we can actually have much more of a presence for Everyone's a Critic and whatever the hell we call our Umbrella Academy podcast.
Did we come up with a name?
I did, but you did. Yeah. You're like, oh, that's okay, but like, it's not good enough for me. It's either you're excited about it or you're not.
Well, it was on text, so I couldn't seem that excited about it because text.
I think it was a case of Umbrella Academy or something like that.
It's raining mutants.
There's only one real mutant. He gets killed.
I've never seen the show.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you would, because otherwise you're not going to understand. But yeah. Anyway, so we're going to have that, and pretty soon, I'm thinking probably next week, our Patreon will be up, but we need to discuss what we're going to actually be doing.
It's Raining Robert.
That's my own personal podcast. And it's really late night, so it's not suitable for anybody over 50, actually. Or anyone under 5.
That's from the Twitch stream you do in your car on your way to work.
They love it.
Nobody else can hear.
Yeah.
It's not actually on Twitch.
But I do put Robbie's standee in my passenger seat, buckle him in, and we talk. It's just about life and nipples.
It's recorded on a cassette player.
Exactly. And then I just throw it out into the wind.
Somebody pick this up.
I love that podcast. It's great. Anyway.
Found it on the side of the road.
Right.
So we tried to watch Super Mario Brothers, and we found out that, did you know that Super Mario Brothers is not available?
That doesn't make any sense.
It's like they don't want us to see the terrible Super Mario Brothers movie they made because they've got a what reportedly is a good Super Mario. Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
And was it good?
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, don't get excited about it.
I
tone
thought
it
was
down.
Cute. I didn't mind it. I think it was fun.
So there's that.
Ringing endorsement.
It's no Bob Hoskins, which I think actually in his there's a proviso in his will that said, please burn that film if I die. It's like people, you just don't want people going through your shit after you're dead. Get rid of that.
Of Bob Hoskins. Like,
Exactly.
please don't do this to us. Let our father live peacefully. Don't show anybody this movie.
Agreed, exactly.
Meanwhile, John Leguizamo's family's crying. Please, we want everyone to see this.
This art that was left behind.
He gets $10 every time it's shown. Come on.
That makes sense.
I think, we were talking about Boiling Point earlier. Super Mario Brothers should be available just to punish Dennis Hopper for having been in Boiling Point. That should be the way that goes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
MJ, you've officially come around on the idea that Boiling Point is the worst movie we've watched.
Oh, yeah.
Even worse than Hexed.
Yes.
Well, that's because the thing is like you can't remember Boiling Point.
No, it's completely blocked out in my memory because of how terrible it was. I was so tired. It made me fall into a coma.
You were really depressed after that.
I was just like, I hated it. It was so boring.
It sped up my my menopause. Like I was fine before that, and then all of a sudden, like my body just shut down and said, "You know what? You're old now." Just Wesley Snipes took away my ability to care.
It aged you like 20 years.
You should see my face. You should see every part of me. It's all sad and droopy. Thanks, Wesley.
So without Super Mario Brothers, we're forced to look around at what actually came out this weekend instead of last weekend. And
Yeah, right.
there are only 2 movies, and neither one of them is particularly well remembered. The one is a Donald Sutherland thriller that I can't remember the title of.
If it's not him saying "j'accuse," then I don't want to see it. But yeah.
And the other is Life with Mikey, starring Michael J. Fox and Nathan Lane. Of course, Michael J. Fox just recently in the news with an incredible documentary about his life as it is now.
Right.
And as sad as that is, that he's no longer going to be able to act. And
I hate it. I hate it. Because to me, he's like one of the, especially like to those of us that, grew up on Family Ties and then Back to the Future. And he's still, I mean, like, even interviews that I've seen today, he still has that charm in him that we just adore.
He made James Woods tolerable in the hard way.
That's so true. And that's a high fucking feat. Because James Woods is horrible.
He's utterly repellent.
He is repellent, yes.
But when he's with Michael J. Fox, he doesn't seem that bad.
He's not so bad.
Michael J. Fox makes him look like a nice guy.
We can just pretend with Michael. God bless him. Bless his heart. Well, and so, with this film, too, it's interesting because, again, Michael J. Fox himself was a child star.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna look it up and see how old he was when he started Family Ties, but he was in his, early teens. Family
Ties was what, 81, 82?
Yeah, maybe 83.
It was around that time, and I'm not sure how old he was when that came out.
82, you're right. 82 to 89. Yeah, quite young when he was on there. And that's so this movie is actually quite designed for him, really, since it's about him being a child star film.
Yeah, he was a child star on a TV series, and he grew up to be an agent, but he's also a fuck up who can't make it to work on time and doesn't enjoy his job and is really not good at his job. And his brother Nathan Lane has to kind of carry him and find all the talent that they carry, which are kids. Mm-hmm. They agent for little kids, and we see a lot of really terrible auditions.
Lots of white kids with zero talent, except for Judy, who can sing like Ethel Merman. We love Judy.
I feel like that's a trope from the early 90s.
It is.
Like there are some people who just grew up hating Ethel Merman and just had anybody that they didn't care for that would be doing an Ethel Merman impression.
It's funny because our grandmother put me in acting and singing classes in 1990, 91. And I would go spend the night at her house on Sundays, and she would take me down to go do these things. And there was this one girl who I will never forget, got up there. She did 2 songs. And it's my first night. And she's like, oh, she could tell she was the star of the class. And there's about 10 of us in there. She gets up there, and the first thing she does is a fucking Ethel Merman song. And then she sings the song called She's a Lion or something like that. And instead of like singing it, she's screaming it into the microphone, and then she's done. And that's why it's like I'm looking at these kids in this film going, I know them. I was in a class. I didn't last in that class. I think I finally told our grandma, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not for me. Thank you. I'm not an asshole, but except for Judy. I love Judy in this movie. If I know who plays Judy, actually, I will see if she's.
I was looking it up during the movie, and none of the child stars went on to do anything beyond this, aside from David Krumholtz and a little bit of the young woman who plays the little girl in the movie, who is still working today, does a lot of work today, in fact.
Christina Vidal, yeah. She was on a show called Taina back in the early 2000s, and I hated that show so much. And the theme song.
Way to sell her to everybody.
Exactly. But no, she's gone on, to do so much more. And it wasn't even her. Like, it was just like, she's a fine actress. I just thought it was a stupid show. But I only had to watch it because I was, babysitting nieces. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Mandy Patinkin was in this? When?
I didn't see him.
Apparently, he was supposed to play the guy who, early on in the film, Michael J. Fox hits that guy's car with a ball using a hockey stick,
and it was supposed to be.
The boss was supposed to be played by Mandy Patinkin, but apparently they just cut that scene. I guess.
How do you cut a scene with him out of it? My God, he's a power.
It's a weird choice, yeah, and to still have him be credited, in the movie,
right?
But you cut him out. But they kept in the guy who played his bodyguard.
Yeah, exactly. It really, he stole the movie.
That guy.
It was that guy. Angry guy or irate man number 1.
Irate man.
Yeah. So
he meets this little girl on Angie Vega on the street. She's stolen his wallet, and then she's stealing other wallets, and she gets caught. And he sees her, putting on this performance to try and get out of trouble, and so he determines that she's like a really great actress based on that, and decides to sign her up and make her his client. And that's pretty much the movie.
she's a plucky little kid. That one. She has lots of wallets. Lots of wallets.
Yeah.
Oh, there were so many wallets.
So
in
many
that bag.
wallets.
Yeah. They couldn't find the one that she needed to return to the guy.
Which again, it's like that kind of trope. I feel like we've seen before.
Yes, I was just going to say that this is like a child. Like, didn't Curly Sue do this? Yeah.
That was the first thing that, she's just, this little plucky kid that's living on the streets of New York and yeah.
What is it? It's a trope that's been out of style. You'll maybe you can speak to this, MJ, in terms of modern entertainment. Like, do you ever see orphans as characters anymore on TV?
I haven't seen a lot of them.
Unless they're adults.
There's a couple of them, but they're usually the only thing that comes to my mind right now. There's a a show called Danger Force, and it portrays these two little orphans as not knowing barely anything and almost Amish. They wear these like old and they have British accents.
Makes sense.
And they wear these very old clothes and they just kind of and people just kind of like the whole town knows about them. They're just like kind of wandering around. I don't know what they do.
But they're not plucky kids that are stealing your wallets and shit.
No, they were very, very polite little children. Like, they were just like, well, this is what we have to do, and this is our life. And
sounds sad.
It
don't wanna watch
honestly
it.
is kind of sad.
Well, I mean, the image of orphans was basically sealed in 1968 by Oliver, the Oliver musical, which is a terrible film.
Yeah.
That, of course, won Best Picture for the Academy Awards.
No one can fucking know why.
It's fucking garbage. But nevertheless, it's that after that, like, all orphans are like little tiny adult criminals.
They have to be.
Who wear rags. They all wear rags.
They wear rags. I like it with the fingerless gloves, usually.
The fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
And they've got the flat cap.
The dandy hat. Yeah. that floppy little thing. And then they always take it off so they can eat their gruel.
This is the sort of the modernization of that because she gets to wear actual human clothes as opposed to the orphan rags.
And not to mention, I mean, of course, it's, white writers. They just love Oliver. They love a plucky kid down on their luck. And then that was the other thing too. I feel there's a whole thing about Angie saying, my parents are dead, so she just, walks the streets or whatever. She's living with her sister and her sister's boyfriend or whatever that is. But then all of a sudden to say, no, the dad is alive. I just felt like that felt a little forced in there.
Yeah.
A bit. Is that just me?
It definitely did, especially since it had a plot hole. Because he couldn't have had custody of her from a rehab center. It's not legal. Like, you can't have custody of your children while you're in a rehab facility. It would go to either the foster care system or
to her sister.
To her sister.
I thought that too. See, and to me, that's
so her sister would have been perfectly fine to be the one to sign the contract.
Exactly.
That was a bit of forced drama that the movie pushes in there. That basically the contrivance of the start of the third act is Mr. Lebowski, David Huddleston,
yes,
as the operator of a cookie company, who has hired the little girl to be their spokesperson. He's upset, and he says that they signed the contract illegally because her father is still alive, and it's this little contrived thing. And, I mean, it's one of those annoying plot points, too, where he could just solve it with a conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that had to be that third act kind of...
The thing is, this movie doesn't have a third act.
No! This movie slaps you in the face with its dick right at the end, I'm telling you. But, okay, we should preface that with it's a cute, we were enjoying it,
Yeah,
genuinely
it was a cute
enjoying it.
movie.
It's a cute movie, but yeah, it's like everything just kind of felt like just stuffing shit in there at the end, and then not really giving us a proper third act. Yeah,
Yeah, and it didn't really have like an ending. We don't know where anybody went.
yeah.
Like,
No, there's
we
a big
don't
party.
know. We don't know whether she stayed with her dad or went with him. We don't know whether.
I think we have
We
to
don't know
assume
anything.
that, right? We
Yeah.
have to assume that. I don't like to assume things in film.
That's one of the like weird twists on convention that they do, is having the dad be like a really nice guy who's like, yeah, I don't care if you put my daughter in commercials or whatever. That's
Right. Right.
cool.
Well, I mean, and he must have gone into rehab for a reason, and so now it's like meal ticket,
But I didn't get that.
I didn't
from
get it
Ruben
either.
Blades'
And
performance.
I love Ruben Blades, so I was like really happy to see him
No,
in
they
this.
totally didn't give him a character, because his
Yeah.
character is basically just like, yeah, that's fine, and I'll be home in a little bit, and I would like her to come home and live with me, but I really don't have a problem with anything else. Like,
yeah.
I honestly really like that because it's more realistic. It's like, okay, well, yeah, I was gone for a while, and it's like she found a way to make something of herself.
Yeah.
Like, she did that, and yeah, he was fine with it.
It just
I like it.
it just was weird.
It was weird.
It's
That-
like they
it was a
forgot to-
weird add-in.
Yeah, and it's like they forgot to finish the film. So,
Yeah.
shit. How do we want to end this, you guys? We have a
we'll have
she has a dad now.
we'll have Nathan Lane be conflicted for no good reason.
Ah. Nathan Lane does play those characters where he's like, he's just a really uptight New Yorker, and he's just, I got bills to pay. He plays that very well in
This
this.
kid's gonna put braces on my kid.
I can't make my mortgage, Mikey. I mean, the whole thing. That's very much a Nathan Lane role, so it does make sense that he did this.
But again, all just very basic
Yeah.
tropey motivations that are not well enforced.
Yeah.
It's a relatively weakly told story, and it's as if like, hey, we hired Michael J. Fox, let's just let him be charming, and that'll be enough.
That's all we need. That's all we
But that
need.
worked for you, MJ. That worked.
With him and the kid, they had enough that
I
it
like
made
that.
it made it fun. Like,
I
even
agree.
if it wasn't like cohesive enough, it was fun.
Yeah. It's not one that you're going to actively seek out, but I mean, at least it wasn't Boiling Point.
Yeah.
You remember this movie.
I only remember the opening scene of Boiling Point. Just the random, for some reason, we're upset that this guy's dead. We don't know him, but he's dead.
I don't even remember that.
I just remember that, and then rest of the movie, blank.
Yeah.
Was I hungover? I don't remember any of that in the opening. I was probably hungover. This movie, 25% of the 12 critics that gave the film a positive review, with 3 fresh and 9 rotten.
Wow.
Box office, $12.4 million.
I didn't realize people hated this movie that much.
Yeah.
Because it's not a movie that deserves any hate.
It doesn't
No, I
deserve
I mean,
hate.
It's not good. I mean, in
No.
terms of structurally, it's not sound. The third act is a complete disaster. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Michael J. Fox is incredibly charming.
He just is. I would watch him do anything. It's funny that you should, because you mentioned it in the film that you just didn't buy him smoking.
He's not. There are a list of actors who can smoke in movies.
Yeah.
Like Robert Mitchum is the greatest smoker in history. Like,
Yeah.
nobody can smoke like Robert Mitchum in a movie. Michael J. Fox just doesn't seem natural, like a natural smoker. It
Right.
seems like somebody gave this to him. Like, well, this is something that we wouldn't expect a child star to do.
He didn't inhale.
And like he put out so many
Yeah.
very long
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like, just
It's like you just wasted a pack of Lucky Strikes there, you asshole. Some of us can't afford that kind of cigarette. Sorry. But that's true.
Yeah.
They
They seem to assign him a bunch of traits that would be against, like, the image of a child star. But then Mikey was a fuck up on TV too. So I mean,
It's true.
that's
So
the
he-
whole point of the TV series. I guess it's like he actually grew up to be Mikey.
Yeah. I think I grew up to be Mikey too. It's weird because I do live exactly like that guy's life. It's
To the
funny.
point where everything you do, you lead it back to your catchphrase. Can I get off on good behavior?
Exactly. And yes, I can get off on good behavior. I should tell you that. I've been told that many times.
I was obsessed with that during the movie in my head. Like, the amount of work they have to do to build to that as a catchphrase.
Yeah.
takes
Yeah.
so much effort.
You have to imagine like
Every
watching a show
episode
that he does.
has
yeah.
to be built around him getting into trouble and his dad going, "Oh, Mikey, you're in trouble. Can I get off on good behavior?"
No. I'm gonna make that my catchphrase though.
When would you say it though?
No, I would just change. Like I just said, I would change it around. I would say, "Yes, I can get off on good behavior," and everybody would look at me weird. Can we talk about the music too in this, Sean?
Oh, the music is terrible.
Alan fucking Menken.
Really?
Yes.
This is the worst thing Alan Menken's ever done.
It's for a film like, okay, I get it. So it's what, Buena Vista Pictures, so we're talking like kind of a Disney. It's got that kind of a thing to it. It wants to be whimsical, but it's not whimsical.
It doesn't fit the tone.
It doesn't at all.
Because it's not that this movie is gritty or anything, but it's not trying to be sappy and sentimental either. It doesn't because it doesn't really have that.
Yeah.
I certainly that was where it should be going. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is sappy and sentimental, but it doesn't have that. Like certainly she's not playing that.
Right.
She's not playing sappy and sentimental. He's not playing sappy and sentimental.
No, thank God they didn't.
But the music is, and it could just be also like the mixing on like the home video version is just terrible because it's way too loud and incredibly pushy.
Yeah.
It invades into scenes, which some of that is certainly I have to admit, I have to believe that's the mixing. Maybe if it were lower, it might not be so intrusive.
Yeah.
But it's also just incredibly mundane and not really fitting with this movie. It's like it sounds like something like, well, Alan's already made this music. And
I got some in my closet right here.
We've hired Alan. He's given us access to his closet. Just go in there and find something that we can put in this movie. Like, I don't feel like he's actually scoring the film while watching it. You know,
exactly. It's like, just tape that there.
Just grab some of these.
Right.
I'm Alan Menken's assistant. He recorded this a couple of years ago for a movie that didn't get made. There you go. You can have
just
this.
The sound of a toilet flushing. That works. I did fine. We'll take it. Yeah. No, I wanted to mention too. I think there was one scene that I didn't mind the music, but I mean it was a snippet. It's when kind of we have this moment between Angie and Michael's character where they went out and they had this really great day, and then they get home and it wasn't cheesy, like the way that she kind of leaned into him just to give him a hug real quick, and then she doesn't want to look at him. Like, of course, we kind of expected a scene like this to happen eventually, but the music over that was probably the only good, but it was like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was probably the only place where the music made sense, but everywhere else it was just a nightmare.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's just me.
Yeah. I know you said you like hearing Cyndi Lauper in this. I think that was Cyndi Lauper's absolute worst song.
Oh, well, of course it is, but I mean, at least it's Cyndi, and Cindy's actually acting in the movie too.
In this movie, a lot, playing a ditzy secretary.
Not since Vibes had we seen her on screen, right?
Yeah,
I think Vibes was the last movie that she did.
Yeah, it's a trope of these movies where it's like, well, they're a low budget agency, so of course they can only hire like the worst possible secretary.
That typical New Yorker, yeah.
But she's very dumb and
very dumb.
She can't do dictation, and she can barely answer the phone. She's listening to her Walkman while she works.
And she also is the piano player for all of their auditions.
There is a great moment though there when she's playing that song and she's doing the back, and then Michael J. Fox comes up and just like, what song were you playing? I did like that.
I love that song.
Me
too. What song were you playing?
Yes, there it is. That was a great moment.
Well, Michael J. Fox, I mean, that sitcom training kicking in. He knows how to deliver a punchline.
Absolutely, he does. Yeah.
I don't feel like this movie deserves that level of
hatred,
but also like it's not a movie that invites that level of scrutiny either.
No, because ultimately it's just kind of forgettable of the 90s, It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the name of the movie, I remember it, growing up, but it doesn't deserve, tomatoes being thrown at it.
What is it with the people just seeing Michael J. Fox's persona as lovable, like scamp, ladies' man, con artist?
Kind of typical Michael J. Fox.
Like every movie is like him. He's a hustler.
But he's
hustling from underneath.
But he's a
scamp. He's a scamp.
Oh,
he's charming.
Dennis the Menace all grown up.
Movie he made with Helen Slater, Secret of My Success.
I fucking love that movie.
Great movie.
To this fucking day.
Best soundtrack.
Best soundtrack ever. Oh my God. Night Ranger writing the main song with the title in it. Fantastic. Well done.
Oh, superb.
Love you, Night Ranger.
And then he did for the Love of Money
Oh,
with
yeah.
I can't remember that actress's name now, but that's like another one where he's like this hustler. He works at a hotel and he hustles to get like Broadway tickets and he's selling them on the side and
Yeah.
he's got all sorts of scams going on. Why
Yeah.
did that become Michael J. Fox's character?
Gabrielle Anwar.
Gabrielle Anwar,
Yeah.
She was a flavor of the month back
She
in
really
that time.
was very 90s.
Yeah.
Very 90s there.
And
Yeah.
you have no idea who that is.
That's okay. I mean, I think the last thing she did was Burn Notice, and nobody watched that either.
I love Burn Notice.
I see if Sean watched it.
I'm
Although
also a 65-year-old man.
that's you look so good. Bruce Campbell was in Burn Notice, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he was.
Oh, see, I'd watch it for Bruce
Yeah,
Campbell.
he's
alone.
awesome.
Yeah. That's funny. Well,
Interestingly enough, a man who turned this role down actually probably would have been like made this a very different movie, but maybe been a little bit more fitting of that style of character. Eddie Murphy. This was written with Eddie Murphy in mind.
I can't see that.
Really,
No.
the lovable
see that.
scam artist.
Well, but see, for that to work, if it was going to be Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
you'd need he would have to have that girlfriend that he keeps trying to. You know what I mean?
That's a big thing. Eddie Murphy cannot do a movie without a love interest.
Nope.
He can't do it.
And she would be constantly annoyed by him. She'd be breaking up with him, and then Angie, the character, would keep the girlfriend would stick around because she really likes Angie, and then eventually they'd adopt her, and then that's the end of the movie.
It is interesting though that no love interest for Michael J. Fox's character in this
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, he had
Yeah,
one
I know.
one little makeup session with
With a girl that he was lying to.
Annabelle Gurwitch. Yeah, I mean, that was it. That was it. Yes, because he only represents kids, but he told her that he'd represent her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she reading Shakespeare?
Yeah,
Terribly?
I think something like that. Yeah, it didn't sound forced at all, Annabelle. That was a great read.
You
Great
can just
read.
tell like this was made by people from New York doing New York jokes, like having a little boy
Yeah.
who auditions constantly doing like Strindberg or Neil Simon.
I love that kid. And then he
Something else.
just kept persevering. He kept coming back with a new act each time.
Yeah, he tried it all.
tried it all.
I did crack up when he was like later in the movie. He's like still dressed as like a Neil Simon character, and he's still all grumpy and like Strindberg actor, but he's also like wearing a red nose and juggling apples.
I love that. I do love that. If Woody
That was
Allen wasn't
great.
such a creep, that would be a movie I would watch. Give that kid a movie, you know? Yeah, I love that. That was fantastic. Actually, a lot of those kids that did the auditions, I really thoroughly enjoyed. What are you laughing at? Oh, you were yawning. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we boring you?
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
It's all right. I'm going to take a nap after this, okay? It'll be fine. Anyway.
Favorite scene in the movie?
I don't know if I could pick. I
You were cleaning out your watch for a good portion, so...
Well, that sometimes I need something to do with my hands. I don't know. I really liked the scenes of the two of them in the apartment. That when they were just kind of like they were bickering or just like. But I've always loved that trope since I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
Is that little like just walk into somebody like so it's somebody else's house that's not your parents, and you want to hang out there and you want to like have that other relationship. I don't know.
Oh my god, that's you two.
It literally kind of is. Like
You just walk in here like you're fucking like you live here and just
That is pretty
I
true,
do that all
actually.
the time.
I mean-
Like yeah.
MJ would literally come down here just to take a nap.
Yeah.
So, I mean... And it's like, oh, you're coming down? Yeah, what are
just
you going to do?
randomly
Let's take
walk
a
in your
nap.
house and MJ's here making
Yeah,
food.
There's food. Yeah. Got something on the TV. Why are you here? I don't know. I just felt like it. All right. I'm going to go hang out in my room. But that's always been us.
Yeah.
Since you were little. So.
And I think that was part of the reason why I liked it, because I mean, I was not close with my parents, but I had somewhere else to go.
It was always me.
It
We were
was
very
like
close. We're so close right now that our elbows are almost touching.
Both your parents are in rehabs.
We weren't going to bring that up. But we just kind of felt like that we should talk about that. Actually, this is an intervention. Your parents are both in rehab, and they don't want you anymore. So you have to live here now.
It'd be so weird to have my mother in rehab.
Yeah, I don't know what she'd be in rehab for.
Never
Hoarding?
doesn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
Hoarding rehab.
Hoarding. There should be a rehab for hoarding.
Really should.
Yeah.
It's an A&E TV series.
We can put it on TV. We could put it.
We can
in
make
real
some money
life.
off of that.
Yeah.
Let's call your mom at the rehab center. Don't worry, I'll drive up there without you.
The things that you own that you don't know you own.
There
There are so many of
It's
them.
probably in the van. Just go
So
check
many-
the van.
Oh, literally. Mom just cleaned the van a few days ago, so one of them is fine. The other van,
Yes. Oh, that I wanted to mention. Okay, so Victor Garber.
Mhm.
What a fucking waste in this movie.
He
Yeah.
plays a rival agent at a much larger talent agency who's trying to poach clients from Chapman and Chapman.
So why couldn't we have something a little bit more dastardly for him to do? You know
like,
what I
he
mean?
could totally
he stole their
be-
biggest client. What more do you want?
But barely. Like I would have
He
liked
did it
to have
off
seen.
screen.
Yeah,
I mean-
he did it. It would have been cool to have him, like, he's sliding contracts over to Barry and that kind of thing, and we know what's going to happen. He's like, all right, then you're going to Disney, and then Barry comes bursting into the office of Chapman and Chapman saying, "Fuck you guys, I'm out," and then he goes. Like, I would have liked to see that.
That, yeah,
And
and
just misusing of Victor Garber.
they didn't like you. They only had one scene with him, really.
Yeah.
It was just that one scene, and it was like,
What a waste.
okay. I mean, he showed off his little thing for a minute, and then he's gone, and then he's just this idea, and
Yeah.
it's like, we could have made that into a bigger thing, and it would have made more sense
And I
for that
loved
to be the
him.
problem.
Right. It
Well,
would
I
have
mean,
been-
it would have made more sense in the third act to have like an actual villain.
Yeah.
Well put. Because we're still asking editor Robert Layton where the fuck the third act is. You just forget it? He's like, oh, this is going to go on the floor for now. We'll put it back later.
Mandy Patinkin, don't need that.
Don't need that. We better include this one scene with Christine Baranski being the whitest person in New York. Which her character's name is Carol. She even gets a name, and she's in there for what, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
2 minutes. All right.
No, I mean, he could have had, and again, this is a trope, and it's like the easiest fucking writer thing to do, but like, he hits the car with the puck, and it leaves a dent, and then, the bodyguard comes over and threatens him, and it's like, okay, I gotta go, I've got to get to this, I gotta get one of these kids to an audition, and then he takes him to the audition, and the bodybuilder, bodyguard is there, and inside is Mandy Patinkin, whose car he hit. Like, there's your scene.
Oh,
There's
there
your
it is.
comic. There's your comic tension.
Right.
Give me
Easily.
something of that. I mean,
That'd be very interesting.
We'd like to go to all these new places and option to remake this film. We've got some ideas.
we've got a third act.
We got a third act for it. David Krumholtz is going to play Mikey in it, just so he can actually be in the movie as an adult. By the way, which again, I love him.
Yeah.
I do love him. He played a very David Krumholtzian kind of character.
The serial king.
Yeah, the serial king, Barry.
Bring very much of that energy from like the little baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Exactly. Precisely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm looking at this list of who is in it. Mary Clayton was in this as Angie's teacher, and I know they list her as Mary Alice, but it's Mary Clayton. Mary Clayton. You never seen her? You don't know? Who
I
that
know
is?
Mary Alice very well. Yes,
You know
She's
Mary
the
Alice?
well-known actress.
Yeah. Well,
actually.
anyway, but I
Incredibly
like
talented.
to see her in this movie. She was only in it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody that mattered was only in this movie for like 2 minutes. Just kidding, except for I love Michael J.
Well, I mean,
Fox.
in that way, Michael J. Fox is in every scene, and this is
Right.
entirely focused on him. The movie does not leave his perspective
Yeah,
the entire time. There are no scenes without him.
you're right. Wrong.
Wait.
School.
School. Yep. But even he came into the school on one
At
of
one
them.
point, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I always have to just devil's advocate. I just have to be right. What else is James Lapine? What else has he done?
This was his first film. I know that much.
It was his last. He looks so happy.
He's done a lot of theater work. He's mostly worked in theater.
Okay.
Other than this, he did not do much. He did the terrible screenplay for Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I hate a lot. I hate Into the Woods a great deal.
I liked it.
But do you have any idea who wrote the screenplay for this movie?
That was Mark Lawrence.
Mark Lawrence, yeah. Mark Lawrence. He's written a lot of different stuff. He wrote Forces of Nature.
Remember Forces of Nature? God, that soundtrack sucked. Yeah.
Oh, he wrote the terrible script for Out of Towners. Oh, that was terrible.
Oh, Out of
That was god awful. Oh no, he directed. Oh god, he's awful.
Did you
Never
hear about the
mind.
Morgans? Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Those are all terrible movies.
God, yeah. That's not okay. Oh, Noel.
But he was a writer and executive producer on Family Ties.
Oh, which that would make sense.
Yeah.
But he did Miss Congeniality, which I love that movie.
That one's all right.
It's
Music and
cute.
lyrics isn't a terrible movie.
I love music and lyrics. It's cute. I saw that in the movie theater with my mom, and we adored it. We loved it. But yeah.
Every time I hear Miss Congeniality, I think of how Chandler just really loved that
He
movie.
did. A great friends through line right there. That's excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not something that you're going to go and seek out again. Like, I'm not going to sit down and go, oh, I feel like it's a Life with Mikey day.
30 years later, this movie is not remembered.
No.
It's not a movie that anybody thinks about or has anything interesting to say about, that nobody does a podcast about.
And it's right, but you're welcome. We're bringing you back here.
This is the only Life with Mikey podcast you're likely to ever hear.
That's not true. That's probably true. Probably true. That is
Michael
probably
J. Fox doesn't talk about Life with Mikey.
I know. God, I wish I could meet him. I just want to talk about that one movie with you. Are you kidding? Like, he's done like all these great movies, but I'm going to ask him about this movie.
Randomly, they referenced this movie in a title card on Spin City. The last episode of Michael J. Fox's run on Spin City is called Life with Mikey.
Aww. I loved Spin City when he was on there.
Show.
It was a good show.
No one remembers Spin City.
But they should. We have lots of great people come from that.
That's why Amy's got a Spin City podcast starting
next week. My special guest, Connie Britton, will be on there as well. We're not going to talk about Friday Night Lights. We're just going to talk about Spin City. I'm sorry. But I will not be having Charlie Sheen on. That's not going to happen. So,
Barry Bostwick will do it.
Barry Bostwick would do it.
He'll come here and sit in your
He
living room.
I wouldn't mind that.
In exchange for a meal.
Yeah. I love Barry Bostwick. I'm all over that. I wonder if he'll put on his outfit for Rocky
Michael
Horror.
Boatman.
I'd have Michael Boatman on my show. Fuck, I'd have him on this show for
Alan
no reason.
Ruck?
There's an Alan Ruck shit in the woods. I'm telling you.
Yes, that's right. I can name all the main cast of Spin City.
Because they were great. It was a great show. Come on. Let's talk about that instead of again, no bad actors. No, I mean, it wasn't like that. That's not what kind of shitting on this movie is about. It's just that it just wasn't a great film.
Yeah, they kind of made it like fun.
Yeah.
They just with how they acted.
Yeah, good charisma, good on-screen presence for all of them. It just wasn't. And God bless Judy. I just want to know where Judy is. I really want to know where Judy is.
Did she do anything after this? I don't know.
But like, she was bigger than some of those. She was in more clips than that Carol. Like,
yeah, Carol was only in the one fucking clip. And Judy doesn't get shit, apparently.
Judy is not listed on the Wikipedia for
I'm going to IMDb, thank you.
I'm just saying.
I gotta find Judy. I want to know where she is.
So the chemistry between Michael J. Fox and Christina Vidal is really the main driver of this movie. It's really what this movie is all about. And if you look at it like that, then there's actually a lot to enjoy about this. It's a breezy film.
Yes.
There's no conflict. Really?
No. And you kept waiting for it.
She goes to her first audition, and he just kind of flashes that little Life with Mikey charm and gets her, and she immediately gets the job.
Yeah.
Like, he was just right.
And that's the problem, because I think that the whole Michael Chapman character, this movie should have been better because of it. Because he's, again, very charismatic, very interesting, very early 90s kind of guy in movie. But I really liked him. It's just a shame that the stuff built around him in this film didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, especially the third act, or the lack thereof.
Yeah. Just those repeated scenes of kids just auditioning over and over again.
So
Exactly.
many, and they just keep trying.
But they were funny, though.
Yes.
Like, they made them funny. At the very least, if you're going to do that, they should be funny. Even if they don't matter in any way.
Exactly. Barbara Hollander played Judy in this film, by
Who
the
the
way.
hell is Barbara Hollander?
I'm looking. Trying to figure it out. She was in Everyone Says I Love You, Deconstructing Harry, Guiding Light, and Life with Mikey.
She was probably doing Ethel Merman in all of them.
Probably. I love Deconstructing Harry. I mean, again, but, fuck off. But, I mean, I don't remember Judy in that film at all. Or Everyone Says It's weird that we brought up Woody Allen, and it's like she's in 2 of those. Well, of course she is.
Yeah,
she's fucking Judy.
She's a New York actor.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, is that all she's done? Oh, she was on Adventures of Pete and Pete, which is fantastic, by the way. She was a drunk girl in the short Both Thumbs from 2009.
Was that the last credit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judy, I'm sorry, Barbara, we're going to get you back into acting, baby.
Well, now you don't know that she hasn't been doing a lot of theater. She could be doing theater.
I'm just assuming that I'm correct. We're going to get you back into acting, Barbara. Or at least we just need get you on Broadway, because you got to use that voice, baby.
You want to know something? You want to think about something very odd?
What?
Barbara is our age now.
Fuck off. No, Barbara. I'm going to keep you young in my head.
All of the kids in this movie are now in their 40s.
They are. Yeah, like David Krumholtz is my age. That's weird.
Right?
Oh, I don't want to think about this anymore.
It's weird to see them as kids and then, know that they are, grown now. Very grown.
And,
Some of them
they're
have
real estate
grandchildren.
agents and supermarket managers. And
Oh, God. I mean, I could, real estate, probably out in, San Bernardino. That kind of thing. Oh, I was an actor once, but I really loved
was a
real
fifth grade
estate.
teacher,
Yeah, right. Aw.
The Strindberg kid is he's on TV selling things.
God. I don't want that for him. Let's find out where he's at.
I don't remember his character name, so I can't look
God
him up.
damn it. He could be Boy. I mean, he could be any of these.
His character, he was a named character.
Eric
he had
the Magician? Oh, no, that
multiple
was the
lines in
yeah.
the movie, and I just don't remember
That's a
him
bummer.
in any way whatsoever.
He should have had a name. So, I mean, God, Judy Wasserman has a full name.
She has a full name.
Full name.
Wow.
And
Mandy
she-
Patinkin gets Irate Man.
And she was a multiple punchline in the movie.
Good
Everybody
point.
hated Judy.
Yeah.
Judy is constantly. Judy gets made fun of more than the Serial King.
Really does. And a
Yeah.
couple of the jokes are actually aimed at Judy's weight, which kind of pissed me off. I didn't like that at all.
I didn't notice that.
I
But
didn't notice that either.
yeah. The whole what if the wrestler throws her back out and lands on, that whole line? It's
yeah.
like, fuck you. Shut up.
Not necessary. Yeah, there's
Judy
a
had a
wrestling,
ton of confidence.
there's a wrestling scene
Which
in this movie.
so out of left field. Oh my God, my leg is
So-
asleep. Sorry.
Yeah, Mikey takes all of his kid clients to see a wrestling match with Jerry the King Lawler and Jeff Jarrett, who
Yeah.
is still a professional wrestler to this day on national television.
He has to be 100 years old. How old is he?
I don't know.
He's not even in the credits. I'm like, oh, there he is. Okay, so we got
Jeff Jarrett. Yeah.
Evil Eye. He's playing Evil
He's
Eye.
playing
in
the
this.
evil eye,
Holy shit.
but he's dressed like Jeff Jarrett. And they
As
never
only-
mention that the character's name is the evil eye.
Ah! Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He's not 100 years old. He's born in 67, for fuck's sake.
So he's 10 years older than you.
Yeah. I like my people 10 years younger than me, if you don't mind. Right, Robbie? Little Robbie. Nipples.
Jerry, sex pest Jerry the King Lawler, who
Jerry. Oh, yeah.
may
Is
have
it-
tried to date some of the young girls in this movie.
You?
Oh yeah, he's an accused child rapist.
Was he the one? No.
in The Mask?
Jerry Lawler.
He was in. He's Andy Kaufman's friend.
That's who I.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how you know him.
I'm going to start laughing here in a minute. I'm really sorry, but my leg is so asleep that it's tickling all the way up into my thigh. It's just giving me the chills. And can you put him on your lap? Just
I
take,
can try.
Here,
Take
just
the dog.
Sit here. I have to. I can't feel anything. This movie.
What is happening right now?
My leg is asleep. I can't walk. If I get up, I will fall. I'm telling you that right now. Good God. I had a dog on my lap.
Welcome to the Chair Podcast.
Yeah. Well, you
You
knew
need-
we were gonna come up with it.
You need better ergonomics is the issue.
Yeah, I like my $2 chairs from Goodwill. They're about fall apart anyway. Oh God, this is a whole documentary about Jerry Lawler just playing right now. Let's just turn that off.
Lovely.
Okay.
We don't need to give that.
You don't need
views.
that.
Yeah.
Inacia Figueroa played Kimberly Denise Jackson, who had a beautiful voice there at the end, and I just wanted to see where.
Yeah, she was
Where she
lovely.
is.
But that's a weird note to end on. She's
It
not
is.
a character in the movie, but she gets the ending of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in randomly for an audition as they're shutting down the office, and they're trying to convince, like, the whole tension is they're trying to convince Nathan Lane not to close the office because they got their big client back, and like everything's back to the status quo but slightly better, and he's still like, I don't know, I'm gonna go work for Uncle Jerry, I guess.
No.
I'm gonna shut down the office.
You know
So
what
then-
I also thought of though is that like, why didn't he just try to keep it open himself if he was like the other one?
Why do you need two people to do
Yeah,
this?
you don't
true.
need. I mean, the other guy, he clearly cared more.
Mhm.
But I
yeah,
mean,
he actually treated it like a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, he could do it by himself.
Yeah.
Like,
There's really no reason why. Yeah, why he wants. I guess he just wants to work with his brother. But like, there's really no reason why Nathan Lane's character needs to be there.
No, you don't really serve a purpose necessarily,
Like,
except to show
Well,
us that
I
you
mean,
have high blood
he
pressure.
kept
That's it.
he kept the whole thing going. You know,
Yeah.
because but now that Michael J. Fox, now that Mikey is a responsible adult doing responsible adult things, like he can
Is
do this
he?
by himself.
Yeah.
Can we talk about his apartment, by the way?
I fucking
Oh.
loved his apartment. I'm sorry.
But what about the thing where he's just like he's eating cereal and he just dumps the cereal on the floor?
oh yeah,
Like, why is this a trope in comedy where it's like, it's
He's
so,
a bachelor, a
it's
white
gross in here.
bachelor.
Like,
Yeah,
what was the point?
I don't understand that. I live alone.
it's
And I make sure that I'm constantly concerned that my apartment might smell bad, so I'm constantly cleaning things up to make sure that it's not.
and you're constantly also looking in the fridge to make sure that your milk isn't 3 years old.
Yes.
How hard is that?
A normal thing, and to not eat it if it is.
Yeah, just to prove a point. But I mean, that's again, they're trying to do that whole.
It's a comedy thing.
It's- yeah, it's-
he's a slob, which Michael J. Fox never looks like a slob. He
No.
looks
No,
well
he-
put together at all times.
Right.
He really can't
hair is
pull
perfect.
off the slob.
His hair's
Uh,
very 90s, that whole 90s, 93 haircut. But no, I mean,
All of his
actually-
outfits are on point. Like he's a handsome dude. Like
But
he
you can
doesn't
tell-
look. He doesn't look like the kind of guy whose apartment is like his neighbor complains that his apartment constantly smells.
And that the garbage, everything smells like a
She was
sewer. And
desperately, like she was incredibly shocked that somebody had taken the trash out of his apartment. To the point, like she looked like she was going to call the cops.
that's Mrs. Cantrell, by the way.
I was very worried that was one of those scenes that wasn't going to hold up well. Like she was trying to arrest the little black girl for,
Oh, I know.
or the little Spanish girl for,
Yeah.
for taking out the trash.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like, no, she was just really happy that someone finally did it.
Yeah. That's
it's
the
that-
twist on the scene.
It's
She's
the whole
she's not
Odd
a
Couple
horrible
thing.
racist. She's just happy that this apartment doesn't smell as bad.
No, they left the racism to Baranski in this film because we had to have at least one scene of a Karen in the wild.
I wonder though. Okay, so I'm going to get into something that maybe not is all that comfortable, but would you consider this to be kind of a white savior movie?
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
that is unfortunate.
Yep.
That's probably one of the
Because-
unfortunate reasons why this movie doesn't hold up.
But I don't think that I'm guessing somebody like Michael J. Fox probably didn't see it like that. I mean,
Because it was a
such
trope
different.
of every like
was
a
every-
dozen
yeah.
different movies at the time. Like little ethnic kid doesn't have parents, and some white person has to come along and take care of him.
Save him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was, again, the nice thing, though, is at least we got Ruben Blades in there, who is essentially is a good father.
Again, that's treated like a twist.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still weird that they
What a
stuff it in there.
surprise!
Yeah.
Like, the ethnic parent is actually a good person.
Oh, my God. Yeah. How rare of a trope that was. Good God. Yeah, no, it definitely has the
Have you
whole
heard
white
of this?
savior thing.
What is your take? There's a long-term trope leading up into. I mean, it's still around today in many ways of this sort of white savior character.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just haven't seen a lot of things with it in it.
That's good.
I
It
mean,
means
like,
it's going away.
Right.
Hopefully.
Thank
it really
God.
seems to be, because I mean, I don't see a lot of it, and
It existed for us to the point where people write academic essays about it.
Yeah. And they should. And
I've
they
heard
should.
about it. I've definitely heard about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it just didn't occur to me in this
Woke culture
film.
has destroyed this subgenre.
Oh, thanks, Ron DeSantis. Go fuck off. Eat a bag of dicks, Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis, in Florida, you have to have white savior movies.
Oh my
That's
God,
the
yeah.
only movie you're allowed to show. Where
Because,
white
Sean,
savior.
that's the way movies used to be in my day. Keep them white, tight, and completely full of savioring.
Savoring.
We don't use that word enough in this house, I don't think.
No.
Have you been savioring today?
I destroyed the podcast. I'm sorry. Anybody got something you like to talk about quick?
No. No.
What about the milk scene again? What do you?
Ugh. What about the... Okay, this again. If you know me, you know me.
Mhm.
What pisses me off is that she was making spaghetti, and then she just leaves the pot of spaghetti there, and the pan with the sauce is still on the stove, which means it's still warming, and then he leaves the apartment.
Mhm.
You got spaghetti there. I'm just hungry, but like, why would you do that? Don't leave shit on a stove. And not
Yeah.
like that, but I was really worried about the noodles because she's sticking to the side of the bowl, and it's like, where did?
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
like,
she's a kid. She probably doesn't know.
Okay, I'm
proper
sorry. I
spaghetti
made mean mac
maintenance.
and cheese when I was her age. I did, and I yeah.
You gotta get there. You gotta get that skill.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
true.
a
with
full,
the noodles anyway.
a
Yeah.
full family dinner of spaghetti at that point. I mean, it's a little bit, a little bit above her pay grade.
it's yeah, but it just sounds really good. Like I really want spaghetti now. I just wanted to bring that up, and just kind of hinting
With
we
a
should go
nice
to
juicy
Dollar General.
meatball, with some
Spaghetti.
really good meat. Not too overcooked, not too undercooked.
Sunboist.
I'm doing Nathan Lane's monologue that got cut out of the movie.
Right. Are you sure that's not irate man's line? Mandy, can we get Mandy Patinkin on the phone real quick? So it's like the top cast, and I was just kind of hoping that they would have his face up here. It'd be so funny.
It would be so funny.
We never even saw him. We didn't even know he was there, but he
No.
was there in spirit.
Jerry Lawler had a bigger part than Mandy Patinkin
Yeah.
in this movie.
What does that tell you?
Mandy Patinkin was completely cut out of the film. We don't know why.
I'm checking out the going to the fandom page for Life with Mikey because I kind of want to see. Oh, it was also known as "Give Me a Break." That was the other title of this film.
Oh, well, yeah, then they had to drop it because of
The TV show
a
"Give Me a Break."
lawsuit
Yeah.
from.
from Nell Carter saying, "Hey guys, give me a break. Do you not know
of your profits?
exactly?" Bazing! Well done. But yeah, the budget was $2 million. They made $12 million.
They made money.
So I mean, it's not great money.
No,
you
not
know?
really.
Yeah.
What is $12.4 million today?
Something that I still don't have.
Wish I had that.
What is it? Yeah, I guess.
Let's see.
I'm
I mean,
sure
adjusted for inflation, that's probably a pretty big hit.
Yeah, for 93. Are you figuring it out? Or are you just texting a friend? Oh, the movie debuted at number 7 in the box office.
Aye.
Yikes.
Yeah, this was kind of the end of Michael J. Fox's sort of. I mean, he does do like
Doc
For Love or
Hollywood
Money
after this, right, isn't it?
I thought Doc Hollywood was before this.
May have been. That could be.
We don't do research before the show. We do
Nope.
we do it during the show.
We
That's
like
how
it. We
roll.
like it if we can pause so you can think
Yeah,
about what we're saying.
The Hard Way, Doc Hollywood, those are both 91.
Okay.
This came out in 93, followed by For Love of Money, and that's pretty much after
That was
this.
the
He's
last one?
not
That's when he
starring in many movies. He
went to Spin City.
he did great he was great in The American President, which is a supporting role. He did come back a little bit in The Frighteners with a lead role there, but that
He
movie
was in
didn't
Mars
do
Attacks,
well.
wasn't he?
He was in Mars Attacks, but
Yeah?
he's not a starring role.
Oh.
He was the voice of Stuart Little. which
How
was a
could you
huge hit.
forget that? You're right.
It was a huge
I
hit.
love
Stuart Little and Stuart Little 2.
That's right.
And the lead voice in Atlantis as well. And then, of course, everything kind of stops around 2002 because then that's when we find out,
Yeah.
about his unfortunate disease, which is very sad.
Yeah. But he's still going.
Still there. He's
Yeah.
still, doing everything he can. And
Yeah, again, do see that documentary because that's
still a Michael J. Fox movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Lots of meaning to that, too.
And he narrates the whole thing, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
Which
So-
is not easy for him to do.
Right. Well, again, it was nice to see him in this movie because there's not a time where if I see his face in an old movie where I don't smile. He's Michael J. Fox. We're lucky to have him. What did you come up with?
26 million.
It would be 26 million today.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, it's not,
Terrible.
It's not, yeah.
great, but yeah.
I'm sure that the producers were not happy with
Right.
but I guess a $10 million profit, you gotta be.
It all just went to Michael J. Fox. I was like, there you go. Hey, Christina, we'll buy you dinner at McDonald's.
I do like Michael J. Fox a lot.
I do too.
He's just such a likable guy.
Yep.
The last really great thing that I saw him in, and I didn't watch him on The Good Wife, so I don't know if he was probably great on it. But I
didn't see him on
any of
that either.
But,
Yeah.
But when he was on Scrubs,
Yes. Thank you.
He was so incredible on Scrubs.
Oh my God.
Such a great
Well, it's
performance.
hard to find any actor that ended up on Scrubs. Like, just like Brendan Fraser was on there. I mean, you get these really lovable guest stars on there, and Michael J. Fox was definitely one
Please
of the
don't
best.
mention Brendan Fraser
Nope, we're
on
not going to
Scrubs
cry.
because
We're not going to cry.
that is so emotional.
Yep, we're not crying.
It's so
We're
emotional.
not crying. Have you seen Scrubs?
My mom was really obsessed with it, so I never watched it because I was fighting her a lot.
But
when
you
I
would
was
love
younger.
it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the comedy's
I think you
right
would
up your
love it.
alley.
Yeah, I thought I would after a while, and I always think about watching it when we're up at the cabin because we have the discs, and
Yeah,
like
it's
that
like
was one of
eating
her favorite things to watch up there.
Yep. Yeah, she took them because I had them out, and I'm like, I think I'm going to sell these, and she's like, I could take those to the cabin. I'm like, you want them, don't you? She took them. Yep. I don't care. I mean, you can watch everything on streaming now, so
Yeah.
I don't really need the DVDs.
I for one am pro physical media, but that's
Okay, look, I got Toast of London DVDs. I wanted them. I have them, and but it has to be like something that I really like my Absolutely Fabulous. I have all the deluxe editions of these box sets. And
yeah.
So obviously I have those.
I made a big purchase this week.
Oh, no.
Because I love movies and physical media,
Obviously. Yep.
and there's a particular part of our culture that is I worry that will continue to kind of decline is poster art.
Yeah.
I bought so many posters. There's a drive-in theater here locally that is selling movie posters. Like I got so many posters for like just $50. I got so many posters.
No shit. Like what?
I've got Barbie. The new Barbie movie hasn't even come out yet. I've got the poster for that. But I also picked up one that I'm giving to my co-host on the other Everyone's a Critic show for Bob, which is The Happening.
Oh no! Is that the movie about the hot dogs? It is, isn't it? It's the movie about the hot dogs.
M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening.
Oh my god! It's the weirdest fucking movie.
It's so terrible.
It doesn't make any sense, and there's this whole soliloquy or whatever it is.
This random guy, not even a character in the movie. I don't even know if he may actually be referred to as Hot Dog Guy
Probably
in the
is.
credits. But he stops the entire movie to look at Zooey Deschanel and go, "You like hot dogs, don't you?" Just delivered it just like that, and she just looks at him. She just looks at him bemused, like,
No.
the world is dying because trees are killing people. They're putting toxins into the air that make people crazy to the point where a guy lays down in front of a lawnmower that is coming down a hill and lets the lawnmower run over him.
Yep.
Whoa.
Dude, it's M. Night Shyamalan. What do you want? It's a twist. Everything's a twist with him. This asshole.
Yeah.
Come on. Sixth Sense. Fool me once, okay?
There's just
But
there's this great scene with John Leguizamo. Like he and Mark Wahlberg are best friends in the movie. They're both teachers, and like Leguizamo's got to go with this group of people who are going somewhere else, and he needs Wahlberg to take care of his daughter. So they're like having this very normal conversation about how I'm going to go with them, You take her and make sure she's okay. Then he looks at Wahlberg and goes, you better take care of my daughter. You can't do not let her get hurt. And he goes back to like, okay, well, I'll see you guys later, okay? Then I got to go with them now. Like, what the fuck?
Because the trees were talking to him, right? It's the movie about the talking trees and hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm going to describe that movie always.
It's the movie with hot dogs.
It's the movie about hot dogs. The Happening. So did they have any old ones?
Guys, what's happening with the bees? What's happening with bees, guys?
Not
the bees are dying.
Oh, no, that's a different movie.
That's a legitimate monologue from Mark Wahlberg in The Happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Blackwater. He's trying to tell this woman that this person who's in the house, they're trying to find some shelter. And he's just trying to convince them, don't worry, I'm a normal guy. Oh, Blackwater, keep on.
Yeah, of all fucking songs, you're choosing that one? That's not normal.
But also, who starts singing to a stranger like, this makes me seem normal?
Yeah, well, okay, but I worked in a record store for almost 25 years, so that's nothing new to me. You know?
And the guy ends up shooting 2 teenagers in that scene.
Yeah.
Through the door, just fires his shotgun and kills 2 teenagers.
So what we're saying is, you probably will enjoy Life with Mikey.
Yeah, compared to the
Happening. As well you should, because there's no trees or hot dogs mentioned
the oldest poster I got was Tommy, the Who's Tommy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
I've got some really, really great posters for very, very cheap. So it's but like I said, physical media is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
I have to figure out where to hang these because I've got so many of them now.
Well, that was never. I mean, you're talking to a person who's had walls filled with these things, but at the same time, if you don't have enough wall space, then
I got wall space. I got wall space. I got a little wall space.
So what is next week?
Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
We're watching Jurassic Park next week.
I can't make next week. I don't give a fuck about Jurassic Park. I gotta be honest with you. I don't care about dinosaurs. I don't give a shit.
Well, you're gonna be watching Jurassic Park next week.
Well, at least I get to see Jeff Goldblum. That'll make me happy.
Shirtless.
That'll make me happy. I love that man. He can do anything. I'd watch anything for him, but I just don't give a fuck about Jurassic Park. I really don't.
Maybe you'll come around on it.
No, I don't think I will. What about you? Have you seen it?
I have not.
You've never seen Jurassic Park?
Any sort of
Even the newer ones? Mm-mm. Even the newer ones?
I haven't seen any of the new ones.
Good.
Chris Pratt.
What is your take on dinosaurs?
I had a huge obsession with them when I was younger, actually.
Especially the nugget ones, chicken nuggets. You loved those dino bites.
See, I had a whole thing. I don't know how long this lasted. It was a while. It was like, I don't know. I was in elementary school, and I brought home a bunch of books, and I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Is that because Ross was?
I don't think I had seen that yet. I think it was mostly Grandpa Wayne.
That makes sense.
Always showed me so many science things, and so I was just like, okay, dinosaurs. I'm gonna look at these.
There
and
it
these
is.
look cool.
So I'm into dinosaurs now. I like dinosaurs.
Nah, this dream died when Amy tried to convince you that the dinosaurs walked with the humans 2,000 years ago.
That's right.
As the Bible tells you.
As the Bible, well, you know what a Bible beater I am. And by that, I physically beat the Bible every day. So, yeah.
Amy was the curator at the Creation Museum for many years.
Many years. People still shout my name from rooftops. Remember that crew from the Creation Museum? She got great tits, that one. Thank you. I'm just as God made me. And that's all I'm saying about that. Fuck Jurassic Park. God damn it. Nobody can watch that.
I love Jurassic Park, so I think it's great.
I mean, it's not the Chris Pratt version, so I will probably like it. I don't know.
Laura Dern. Sam Neill,
I love Laura Dern.
Directed by Steven Spielberg.
Okay. Yeah. I still hate dinosaurs.
Wayne Knight is in it.
Wayne Knight is in it. Is he moist?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Ooh. I didn't remember him in that. It's weird. Wait. Speaking of moisture, we forgot to mention. In Life of Mikey, there is a moisture moment. We had a good classic 90s, but it wasn't because somebody was moist.
No.
It was because Michael J. Fox was talking to a woman who said that she had changed. She got a new moisturizer, and he says, well, good, you look very moist. And that was early on in the film, and I applauded it.
Yeah.
We
loved
won
it.
the bingo card.
We won the
It was
bingo card on
great.
that one. Yep.
This movie is filled with sitcom tropes, just end-to-end sitcom tropes.
That's
That if
true.
you want to play a sitcom trope game with this one, you could.
And I think a lot of the early 90s films especially, all kind of played into that. If it was a comedy,
Yeah.
then a lot of it is going to be kind of sitcom-y, But then pretty soon you've got, 1994 rolling along, and Pulp Fiction's just kicking your ass, and nobody wants to see a fucking comedy anymore. And so,
That's a whole other curse on
Oh,
the
yeah.
movies.
Yep.
It's everybody trying to be Tarantino.
yeah. Oh God. And then
We're not going to be watching anything after Pulp Fiction that is like Pulp Fiction. We're just not
do
going to
it. Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah. It's like when Loverboy's lead singer came along and said, well, thanks to Nirvana, we can't make records anymore. And it's like, shut up. No one's listened to you since 1985, Loverboy. Nirvana didn't ruin your career. You did. Just do better, Sorry. I don't know. I get so angry about shit like that. But I mean, that is true in
Yeah.
the case of Tarantino. It's very true.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Oh, everybody's working for the weekend. I hate that fucking
You have
song.
no idea what we're talking about.
You know what? I'm glad that, but the thing is, I sheltered you from a lot of shitty music. So I did a good job. And you're welcome.
You don't know who Loverboy is.
You don't need to know.
She wins.
Yep. That's right. That's right. Smile on my face. Have you seen Robbie's nipples? Look at it. Like two little eyes.
Imagine if he listened to this podcast ever, and he's just like,
There's a
man, these
cardboard
people really talk
There's
about
a
my
cardboard.
nipples.
cutout of Robert Sheehan in the room right now.
Well,
Yes.
okay, let's mention, though, too, that he's also adorned with
Which would
fairy
probably
lights.
be more appropriate for your Umbrella Academy
It
podcast.
will be, but since little Robbie is here, we needed a mascot because
Meanwhile, Jurgen Prochnow is supposed to be the mascot
it's
of the
on
show.
back order.
He's supposed to be.
Because
He's supposed to
the
be.
picture was pixelated, and I kept getting
Yeah.
emails back saying, "Okay, well, it's pixelated. We need to choose a different shot." So then I kept sending that in, and then they just kept saying that I had to get the right shot. So now it's back ordered. Jurgen is coming, but until then, little Robbie Sheehan, is going to have to be our mascot. And guess what? He's been with us since the beginning. So don't get pissed off at me that he's doing a great job as our mascot.
Of course, the only people who know that are the people who subscribe to the VHS of this podcast, which is the only way you can watch the video version of the show is via
Yes.
VHS.
Yep, you have to send in a self-addressed stamped envelope to 6969 69th Street, Pueblo, Colorado, 69696.
That's the only way to get it.
Or you could come here and I can just run one off.
You can look at the Patreon
You can
while
look
you're
at- The Patreon's up on the tree outside. Just leave $1.
Hit $1 to the tree.
I'll throw a tape out at you. You'll be fine. One day that will be the case. I really do want that. My-
somewhere. It needs to be there. Just
There's people in a line out there just like, we're here for the Patreon. Don't forget to leave a comment. Yelling things at my door. Great episode 2 weeks ago. Took us that long to get here. See, if that's how the world worked, I would never leave my house. So, all right. So next week,
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Looking forward to it.
Amy's gonna shit on Jurassic Park.
I'm going to bring out my Bible, you guys. I'm so religious.
You know what's great is that in 100 years, somebody's going to point at Jurassic Park and go, "See, the dinosaurs did walk with people.
Oh my God.
We've got video evidence
That's right.
of dinosaurs walking with people."
That's right.
well,
That's right.
there are scientists currently trying to bring dinosaurs back.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
literally, it's terrifying.
That's the best way to do